Now moving on to the main course, we have a lamb shoulder dish with the lamb breast, cream cabbage, shallot puree and a classic mashed potato. Right, moving on, we'll start to put the lamb dish together, all the components are laid out which you'll have yourselves and they'll come along with cooking instructions and guidance. This has been matched by Patrice with a Chilean Pinot Noir. Now, Pinot Noir classically goes with lamb, but with a Chilean there's a bit more body there, a little bit more, touch more fruit, and we'll bring in just a little bit of the sweetness of the onion puree. So normally Patrice is here on the evenings, entertaining, telling bad jokes, trying to convince you that he's good looking and funny, but it's not true. And he's not even French, he's from Doncaster. But he's been working on his accent in lockdown. Right, back to the dish. So, what I've got here is some cream cabbage. So it's in there's bacon, onion, thyme, rosemary, all sweated down, and then the cabbage, sweated down again as in softened, and then finished with some cream. Not too much, it's quite rich. The lamb shoulder, so this is salted for 24 hours. Rosemary, garlic, salt, thyme, and then it's slowly braised for 6 to 7 hours. And then we pull it out, and then we tie it with cling film, so we get this nice cylinder, and then we just crisp it back through the oven, and the skin and everything will crisp back up. So that's just off centre there. So this is just a classic cream potato. What I've done here, something we'll do in restaurants, and cling film spoon, nice and tight, so it just helps to get a nice little shape. On the plate there, so it gets a nice little rondelle, I will show you what we call it. Now this is such a great combination to go on. This is a shallot onion puree, so we slowly, really cook it, slice it thinly, and really slowly cook it in the oven, and all the time it's just caramelising and caramelising with just a little bit of butter, and at the end you just purify it, and you just get this lovely colour, lovely smell, and it gets all the natural sweetness out. What I'm going to do that much, then stop, so you made a nice little, technically a splodge. Then the tip of your spoon, just drag it. Nice and simple. Which gives me some, so this is the lamb breast, slowly braised, and then we just flake it down, get some herbs through there, some mint, and then we just pan it and just slightly crisp it up. Use your puree to stick it down. Now, moving on, we've got the lamb sauce, which is the stock from the lamb breast, slowly reduced down, really reduced down, so you get a lovely consistency. Just going to nappy that over the top of the shoulder, a little bit on the plate. You can always serve some in a jug extra. With the presentation, you want enough so it works for the dish, not too little, it's pointless, because it will work. And just to garnish, just lovely this time of year, some nice Yorkshire kale, just been slightly crisped up on top, and there we have the Yorkshire lamb, shoulder and breast, everything else.
The Chateau Héritage Blanc de Blanc, and now preparing for the pièce de résistance, so you like to call the main course, and we're gonna go to Chile. Now again, thanks to Bruce, beautiful dish. the braised lamb there. So we've got rich flavor, a bit of a winter feel to it. And we needed the wine that was going to bring us a bit of warmth, but also a bit of sweetness and a bit of velvetiness as well. Okay, I think lamb is often described as a powerful meat, but I do think, especially when it's braised, it's got a gentle, lingering flavor, and we don't want anything that's going to sort of hide that away. We want something that's really going to come into the dish. Now, whilst the first wine what we did was to experience with something and having the wine and the food sort of going alongside together, on this occasion I really am bringing an ingredient to the dish. Okay, little known to Bruce, I'm bringing another ingredient, so I kept it, to myself. But the idea is we're going to Chile. Okay, we're going to Hugo Casanova, the Antaño Reserva there, and before I introduce the grapes there, the Chile is a very interesting region in terms of winemaking. They are top 10 producer in the world. They have been introduced to wine far earlier than any of the New World wine. Even so, it comes under the cap as New World. I'm thinking about California, but certainly more like South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand that were introduced quite late in winemaking. We're talking about the 1800s. The actual sort of South American were introduced to wine in the 1500s. Okay, and that's due to the Spanish Armada going over there. I think they literally went over there to borrow some gold from all those rich countries. But what happened was, as Christians, when they went over there, they needed to make wine for their mass. Okay, so they brought in some grapes and savoir-faire, so to speak, and they introduced winemaking in the whole of South America, to be honest. And South American, in particular, the Chilean and the Argentinian, are quite big wine drinkers. And it has been part of their sort of heritage. So, farmers would produce wine for themselves and also do other productions. But so wine is almost like a same relation to wine that they have in Italy and France as well. Which makes it very interesting countries. Now, on top of that, in the early 1800s, there was a massive exodus of people from Europe, Central Europe, France, Italy, Spain, but also sort of Eastern Europe, people from Croatia. North of Croatia was called Dalmatia. So all those Dalmatians went across to the South American and brought with them some grapes and also some sort of 2 or 3 generations of winemaking as well. So most of those houses have got a background of either French or Italian sort of family. Now Hugo Casanova obviously is Italian, and I think they're now on their 5th or 6th generation of winemaker. So a fantastic house. And the one I decided to go with the lamb is a Pinot Noir. Okay, one of the most sort of classic grape, one of the most in terms of in the world of wine, in terms of writing and everything, there's no grape that has fueled as much passion as a Pinot Noir has. Okay, it's often described as the wine of the poet, the grape of the poet, the grape of the lovers, so it's history and flavor. But what is very intriguing about the Pinot Noir is its particularity. It's a fragile grape. It's very demanding in terms of from cropping it to actually harvesting the grapes. So grapes themselves are very fragile. They can, if the winemaking is not done properly, you can end up with something that's quite sour and bitter. So it's not a grape that if you're a young winemaker, you don't start with Pinot Noir. That comes with experience and age. So the idea behind this particular Pinot Noir is to have something that's a little bit less earthy than a French Pinot Noir. So if you go to the Burgundy region, you might have some light, very sort of fruity but still very earthy flavored Pinot Noir, which will leave like a bit like a dry palate, if you like. Which could demand maybe more exotic dishes. And also, if you go to Australia or New Zealand, which they make beautiful Pinot Noir, they tend to emphasize the fruit and end up with almost like a light sweetness to the grape as well, which I didn't particularly like. So this Pinot Noir there is what I would call the piggy in the middle. It's a perfect balance of the beautiful flavor of the Pinot Noir. Obviously that's down to the palates of people, but we've got the red currant, we've got the raspberry, we've got that type of flavor there, the little berry fruits, and then also we've got a nice smooth finish. So we don't have much tannin, just enough that to coat the palate and to leave a lingering impression. and that is the balance of fruits and tannin that I wanted to go with that particular dish. So I would describe this as a sort of a fruity, velvety Pinot Noir, which I don't think you could go any wronger. I just want to warn you before you go for it. This wine, there's very, very, very little sugar remaining. The fermentation was pushed to the limit, and therefore we end up with 14% of alcohol, which you won't taste. So I will, it's better for me to tell you that it is, So I'll let you enjoy that, and I'll see you for pudding. Thank you very much. Bye bye.